everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I am back. I've actually been away a little bit and I'll explain about that soon, but today we are going to be drawing Moon Knight. I am so excited. I have been watching the whole series of Moon Knight, which is a Marvel TV series on Disney Plus, and it is absolutely amazing, and I have been so inspired to do some fan art for the characters in this, so that's what we're doing. Now, the reason that I haven't been able to post in a little bit is because of COVID. Now, during Easter, I was spending time with my partner, and my family had some family over, and basically someone there accidentally brought COVID to my house, which is fine because they didn't know, and they told me the day after when they started getting symptoms, and they did a test and stuff. But because of that, I couldn't go back home because my family had been, exposed to COVID. So I waited a week, and after that, my mother tested positive for COVID. So I was like, oh, okay, I probably shouldn't go home yet because, I don't want to get this to spread or anything. So we had to wait a whole nother week. And then after that, my mum tested negative and everyone in my house tested negative. So I was finally able to go home. And because I didn't know I was going to be staying an extended time away from home, I had no art supplies. I had none of my technology. I didn't have my iPad or anything. I didn't have access to any of that, so I wasn't able to make art or make videos, unfortunately. And that sucks, but honestly, it's nobody's fault, and I kind of just used that as an excuse to sort of take a break and just have a little bit of me time, and spend time with my partner. And honestly, I really enjoyed that. So anyways, that's why I haven't been posting in a little bit, but we are back now and we are drawing Moon Knight, as you can see here. Now, if you're unaware of what Moon Knight is, it is a Marvel superhero, and they've recently brought a limited series out on Disney Plus, and I watched all of it during my break, and honestly, I loved it so much. The finale got me really happy. I love the way it ended. I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything. But the thing I love about this character, the main character, is he has dissociative identity disorder. And I honestly love the representation that Marvel did with this. The main characters are Marc and Steven, which are two alters of the same whole person, and it was really amazing to sort of just look into the perspective of that kind of thing, as well as the whole superhero stuff over the top. It was Egyptian themed, and there was this Egyptian god Khonshu who granted him powers, and it was just amazing. Now, if you're a big Marvel fan and you're cringing at the way that I've explained this, I'm sorry. I haven't read the comics or anything. I kind of went in fresh with this series, and honestly, I really, really loved it. So anyways, for the art supplies that we are using today, as you can see, I am sketching out on some paper here. This is my Art Spectrum drawing paper. I really like it because this paper is not a bad sort of mixed media paper. It does have a nice tooth, which I really like, but it also works really well with markers, and it's a little bit thicker and also a little bit more affordable than the Strathmore brand paper that I usually use for this reason. So I used a graphite pencil to first sketch it out, as you saw, and I just sort of roughly sketched out the anatomy and the rough shapes of the costume that these guys are wearing, because his superhero costume changes depending on which alter is fronting, which is the different identities that this guy have, which is really cool. And I have to say, I really love the way that these costumes are sort of designed. I absolutely love Marc's one, which is on the left. It's very superhero like, and I really love how the bandages are almost in the shape of the muscles, and I think that was a really cool addition because you can see his anatomy and everything, but it's very on character for the sort of Egyptian god sort of superhero design. And the one on the right here you can see is Steven's one, and his is a little bit more suave. His suit is actually a suit, which I find pretty awesome and kind of funny, but it really suits his character and his personality. And honestly, Steven is probably my favorite character in the whole series. He is adorable and very charming and sweet. So for the line art, I'm actually using my Prismacolor Premier pencils. These are still my favorite color pencil in the whole world. I've tried so many and none can hold a pencil to these pencils, I have to say. Now I wanted to go with pencils instead of pens for the line art because I just really love the sort of rough, sketchy look that you can get. It's a little bit more like organic looking, and to me the end result is a little bit more realistic, and I feel like I can get more details in better, which, like, if you think about it, doesn't make sense because like inking pens are more crisp and like I don't know, they're just more precise, but the color pencils they're just a little bit more forgiving, which I really like. But anyways, as you can see, we are going into coloring now. And the thing I love about these suits, these sort of costumes, they are completely, well, mostly monochromatic, which I honestly love. It kind of reminds me of an Egyptian mummy, especially with the bandages, mainly on Marc's suit. But it looks super badass and super cool. And I love that it's mostly like white / like pale gray, and it was just really fun trying to get the details down and all of the sort of values and shadows and highlights without having to worry too much about choosing the right colors, because we mostly just used like a warm gray and some sort of like neutral grays and a little bit of cool gray as well in the shadows. Now when you look in the show, his actual costume is a little bit lighter than you can see on here, and that's mainly because of a few reasons. The scene I'm going to be drawing is at nighttime, so we can have a nice moon in the background, you know, for moon night, as well as the fact that I've gone in and I've added a lot of shadows to it, but we are going to bring back a lot of the highlights later on with color pencils, so look forward to that. So next we have to color in the night sky, and I really wanted to include a very big moon because of, in the show at one point, Khonshu, which is like the moon god and the god of the night sky, he makes the moon really, really big to get the attention of the other Egyptian gods, and I just thought that it looked so cool, and I wanted to have a really big moon sort of above and in between those two characters. So I used mainly blues for the color of the sky. I could have gone and done like a full galaxy thing, but I honestly just wanted to do a nice sort of like deep but bright blue to help make the moon stand out really nicely and do a bit of a gradient, as you can see. Now once I added in that background, I realized I needed to sort of just add a little bit more shadow and just refine the characters a little bit more. I find that I have to do this often because you don't know what it's going to look like until you add that background, because the background is going to take up the most space in the artwork. But honestly, that's not a problem. I really enjoy going in and just refining and rendering those like shadows and details. And with this sort of sketchy art like style, it works pretty well to just keep like layering over until you get the effect you want. And speaking of layering, oh my god, this moon took me so long. I'm not the best at drawing moons. Mostly I kind of just draw them a little bit cartoony and not very accurate to our moon, but I kind of wanted to try and make it a little bit accurate, so I just kept layering over browns and yellows and like beiges and grays and stuff to try and get some of those craters to look good. And then after a while I kind of, you know, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a break from the moon and we're going to go in with these characters here, and you know, I'll just like add a little bit of highlights and details and stuff to these characters before I go back to the moon, because it's giving me a little bit of strife. Now for the gold parts on Marc's costume, because he has like these really cool gold accents, I used my gold metallic Prismacolor pencil, and that worked very, very well. I was kind of tempted to use paint, but I decided not to because I didn't want to add too many different art supplies into this artwork and make it really complicated. So I just, you know, used the same pencils, but it worked out really well, and I think it fits pretty good with, you know, the other details. For the background, as you can see, the sand, I laid quite a lot of blues and greens because the sky is blue, so it's going to add a lot of blue like shifts in the colors, and like sand is like a warm yellowy brown color, So obviously it's going to be slightly green looking at night. And honestly, I think that that worked out pretty well, especially with all of the texture that I added over the top with the pencils on this textured paper. I think it worked out pretty good. And I tried to use those same textures on the moon to get a nice sort of textural surface, because the moon does have a lot of craters and lines and stuff, and I think it turned out okay. And now we are just adding in some stars, because this is the night sky, and it's not going to be the night sky without lots and lots of stars. Stars obviously are, you know, a thing that is in the sky. I just used my gel pen for that, so it was nice and crisp, and I went a little bit overboard with the stars, but I think it works out really well. If you've watched the show, you'll know. And honestly, here is the final result, and I am so happy with this artwork. I think it turned out really, really cool. It was fun to draw a sort of superhero style, and now you just have to sign it. Now I noticed it was very slightly off center on one of the sides, so I just trimmed off a few millimeters off the edge so that it was more symmetrical. And here is the final result, and honestly I love this artwork so much. So anyways, let me know in the comments below if you've watched Moon Knight, or if you like Marvel movies, or if DC is more your thing. Please comment below, because I love nerding out with you guys and talking about superheroes and stuff. It makes me happy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely day. Please stay safe out there, and I shall see you in my next video, which shall be very soon. Bye everyone.